Hey everybody, this is Ronald with the 410 Middle School students. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to start a new series today called Fresh. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like my garage all that much. Well, I guess I should say I don't like my garage when it's messy, like when there's a lot of stuff in it. And a lot of times there is a lot of stuff in it. Like when I was making, I should point this way, this thing over here. It was like a big old hamper thing for our bathroom. You know, you could pull down the drawers and put it in your dirty clothes and like shut them. It looks really nice now, but like while I was making this thing over here, it was crazy. Like my garage was dusty because of all the sawdust, and I was sanding things and painting things, and it was just trash. And honestly, because of all that, I didn't really want to go out into the garage all that much. Instead, I kind of wanted to avoid it unless I was working on this thing over here. So my question for you is, what's something you don't think about as much when it's not right in front of you? Like school, maybe? You're not thinking about schoolwork if it's not right in front of you, or your friends? I mean, maybe you're not thinking about your friends as much when they're not like right there. Like you see somebody and you go, oh man, I missed you. And I kind of forgot you existed for a little bit. But now that you're here again, like I miss you. That's a real thing. That happens. Or maybe you're trying to think of like a fun summer activity that you would normally get to do, but because of quarantine things, maybe you can't do them. Yeah, so it's something you don't think about as much when it's not right in front of you. You know, today in our lesson we're going to start looking at Colossians 3, and it's just called Seek. I want us to seek something new today. Let's look at Colossians 3, verse 1. So if you've been raised with Christ, seek, there it is, the things raised above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Have you ever played hide and seek with young kids? Yeah, it's kind of funny because if you play really well, like if you're good at hide and seek, well then, more than likely, those young kids are not going to find you. But on the other side, if you're the seeker, you're walking around, if you were like really trying, you'd find everybody in like 30 seconds because like they got feet hanging up, or like they're like chuckling and laughing while they're hiding in the hamper that you just made. I could not hide in that hamper. I don't think it's structurally safe. The idea is that you can hide things really well, right? And maybe you can do that, but it's also a thing where you have to seek. You have to go looking for stuff. This verse right here says, so if you have been raised with Christ, meaning if you're a Christian and if you're a believer, seek things above. So if you're a Christian, if you believe in Jesus, then you need to try to find things that are above, to do things that have to do with heaven. What's that mean? I'm glad you asked. Let's keep reading. Colossians 3, 2-3. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things, for you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. You ever moved and gotten like really hung up on where you used to live, right? Like I moved when I was in middle school, and then again when I was in high school, and honestly I kind of like really got hung up on where I used to live. And it used to be a big deal because I would tell people like, oh yeah, I'm from this place and I don't really feel like I belong in this new place. So I was born in Montgomery, Alabama, then I moved to Robertsdale, Alabama, and never felt like I was supposed to live in Robertsdale until I moved to Huntsville, Alabama. Then when I moved to Huntsville, all I could talk about was what I used to live in Robertsdale. See, here's the deal. Because we've been raised up, because we are different now, we need to act different now. Or because you're a Christian, because you're someone who follows Jesus, you need to no longer do what the world would do, but instead you need to do what Christ would have us do. What does that look like then? All right, Colossians 3 verse 4. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you will also appear with him in glory. If you could know one thing about your future, what would it be? What would you need to know or want to know? Well, I would probably want to know, I don't know, maybe like what great adventure I'd want to go on, or like how you died so you could avoid it, that kind of thing. You think about it. If you could know one thing about your future, what would it be? Well, as Christians, we know that one day we're going to go to heaven. We're going to live with Jesus forever. That's going to be our future. And because of that future, we need to live right now like we are heading that direction. So here's what I want us to take away and be our main thought. To think, live, and act fresh. What does it mean? I'm going to give you just one thing that you can do with that. This week, think about 3 things that happened last week that involved people. Could be you were interacting with somebody over text, or you saw somebody in the grocery store, things like that. In those interactions, those 3 times you interacted with people, how did any of your interactions point people to heaven? Did you pray for somebody who was having a rough time? Were you able to share scripture with somebody who needed to hear it? Were you able to just be a friendly voice to somebody who was really lonely? And if you didn't do anything that pointed towards somebody towards heaven, what can you do differently next time? See, because we are Christians, our life should look not like we are living just for the world right now, but instead our life should look like we are fresh, that we are new, and we are heading towards heaven. So this is our new series. It's called Fresh. I'm looking forward to diving more into Colossians chapter 3. I hope you'll join me. Make sure you get the reading plan on the YouTube comments and start a weekly devotion with me. I look forward to it. We'll see you guys later.